Would you crash a plane just for YouTube views? It sounds insane. It sounds like the kind of dumb question no one would ever take seriously. And yet, it happened. A former Olympian strapped a parachute to his back, filled his cockpit with cameras, and sent his airplane spiraling into the California wilderness, all for one viral video. At first, it looked like a tragedy narrowly avoided. But when investigators looked closer, what they found was even more shocking. The crash wasn't an accident. It was staged. This is the story of Trevor Jacob, the man who risked it all for clicks and paid the price. Trevor Jacob wasn't just another thrill seeker with a camera. He had already lived the kind of life most people only dream about. Born in California, he grew up obsessed with extreme sports. By the time he hit his 20s, he was already competing at the highest level. In 2014, he represented the United States as a snowboarder at the Winter Olympics in Sochi. But after the Olympics, something shifted. Fame fades quickly in sports that only get the spotlight once every 4 years. Sponsorships dry up, fans move on. Trevor needed a new stage. YouTube became his answer. He built a channel around adrenaline, skydiving, skateboarding, BASE jumping, motocross, the kind of content that looked like chaos, but was carefully designed to grab attention. Yet in a sea of creators pulling wild stunts, his views weren't skyrocketing. He wasn't Mr. Beast. He wasn't Logan Paul. He was chasing virality, but it kept slipping out of reach. That hunger for relevance would eventually push him to cross a line no one expected. On November 24th, 2021, Trevor took off from Lompoc City Airport in Santa Barbara County. The plan, at least according to him, was innocent enough. He claimed he was flying to Mammoth Lakes to spread the ashes of his late friend, Johnny Strange, a fellow extreme athlete who had died years earlier in a wingsuit accident. But even before the plane left the ground, things didn't add up. Trevor strapped on a parachute for the flight. Pilots almost never wear parachutes in small planes like the Taylor-Craft BL-65 he was flying. Inside the cockpit, multiple GoPros were set up, pointing at every angle. He even carried a selfie stick. For an average flight, this would have looked like overkill. But for Trevor, it was the setup for something extraordinary. Midway through the flight, about 35 minutes in, Trevor's voice suddenly turned serious. The engine sputtered, stalled, and died. At least that's what the video showed. As the propeller slowed, the camera caught Trevor fumbling, panicked, or so it seemed. Instead of calling air traffic control, instead of trying to restart the engine, instead of searching for a safe landing spot, he opened the door, and then he jumped. Parachute deployed, selfie stick in hand, the camera followed him floating down to the rugged Los Padres National Forest. Behind him, the plane spun violently, nosediving into the trees. The footage was stunning, and soon it would be infamous. On Christmas Eve 2021, Trevor uploaded the video that changed everything. Titled simply, "I crashed my airplane," the 12-minute clip looked like something out of an action movie. Millions clicked instantly. Within days, the video racked up over 2.5 million views. The comments were flooded with shock, sympathy, and awe. But not everyone was convinced. Aviation experts started watching closely, and what they saw didn't match Trevor's story. Where was the Mayday call? Why didn't he try to restart the engine? Why was the door already cracked open before the engine failed? Why did he wear a parachute on such a routine flight? And why were their cameras so perfectly positioned to capture every moment? Reddit threads, YouTube breakdowns, and aviation forums tore the video apart. This was staged, many argued. This wasn't an accident. It was a stunt. The internet was divided. But one organization wasn't buying Trevor's story either, the FAA. By April 2022, the Federal Aviation Administration had launched a full investigation. What they found made things even stranger. Trevor claimed he didn't know where the wreckage was, but witnesses soon revealed he had hired a helicopter to airlift the remains out of the forest. He didn't just remove the evidence, he destroyed it. For the FAA, that was the smoking gun. In April 2022, they revoked his pilot's license. The official letter stated, "You operated this flight in a careless or reckless manner so as to endanger the life or property of another." The aviation community erupted. Pilots called him reckless, selfish, even dangerous. Some said he had set back general aviation's reputation by years. Others worried that YouTube stunts like this could inspire copycats. But if Trevor thought the worst was behind him, he was wrong, because the FAA's case was only the beginning. In May 2023, federal prosecutors stepped in. Their accusation? Trevor had deliberately crashed the plane, then obstructed the investigation by destroying evidence. Court filings revealed just how calculated the stunt was. Emails and text messages suggested Trevor had planned the video with precision. Prosecutors said he staged the crash to gain online views and social media fame. Faced with the evidence, Trevor eventually pled guilty to one count of destruction and concealment with intent to obstruct a federal investigation. The charge carried a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. But Trevor's cooperation and his guilty plea spared him the worst. In June 2023, the verdict was handed down: 6 months in federal prison. The judge made it clear this wasn't just about a plane crash. It was about integrity, safety, and accountability. Prosecutors said Trevor endangered the lives of others, wasted resources, and damaged trust. Trevor himself finally admitted this was a bad decision. It was more than bad. It was catastrophic. He went from Olympian to YouTuber to convicted felon in less than a decade, but the question still lingered. Why? Was it all about money, fame, desperation? Some say Trevor was chasing monetization, trying to stand out in an overcrowded creator economy. Others believe it was an adrenaline addiction, the need to outdo himself with every new stunt. And then there are those who think it was simply the byproduct of fading fame. After all, once the Olympic spotlight fades, so does the world's attention. What's clear is this: the stunt worked, at least for a moment. He got the views, he got the headlines, but he also got prison time. Trevor Jacob's crash became one of the most infamous YouTube stunts in history. But it wasn't just about him. It was about the culture we live in, the pressure to go viral, the temptation to risk it all for a few million clicks, and the very real danger that creators will push too far. For aviation, it was a sobering lesson. For content creators, it was a warning. And for viewers, it raised a haunting question. If you thought crashing a plane for clicks was unbelievable, wait until you hear this. Did you know that YouTube itself exists today because of a shocking moment on live TV? One that involved a woman, the Super Bowl, and a controversy no one saw coming? Click here to watch Her Boobs led to the creation of YouTube, the story that proves sometimes one moment can change the entire internet forever.